It has been 60 weeks since we have gathered in this sanctuary for Sunday morning worship. 60 weeks. Now, we've had a lot of worship in person. We've had car church and other opportunities. We've had prayer experiences here in the sanctuary. But the last time we gathered on a Sunday morning in the sanctuary for worship was 60 weeks ago. And so this coming Sunday is a big deal for us as we move toward in-person worship. Several years ago when we had our capital campaign, the title of it was Building Hospitality. And one of the things we want to do was create a physical space that helped us to be more hospitable as a church. Well, now we're doing it again in a new way, coming out of the throes of the pandemic. We're doing hospitality now in a new way. There's a couple things that we want to do to be thoughtful about being hospitable to those who come to worship in person. Really two simple rules. We want to minimize kind of physical contact and proximity, and then we want to minimize the touching of the same things and passing and those kind of things. Those are things that serve to make us more hospitable as a church, so that other folks feel comfortable and feel welcome coming here for in-person worship. So what does that look like? How do we do this kind of hospitality work in the actual space? Of course, the masks that we're all used to wearing will be a requirement in the building. So as we go inside, we'll have masks on. We'll make sure we stay socially distanced, 6 feet away from all the people that we see around us. And then inside of this space, there will be some things that look a little bit different than they did 60 weeks ago. Nobody's going to hand you a bulletin on the way in. Again, that's a shared touching thing we're trying to avoid. You'll be able to look up on the screens and follow the worship that way. We're not going to have coffee served on the way inside, which is a bummer for a lot of people, I know. But again, it's another reason for people to take off masks inside, and so we want to avoid that. What we will do is give folks these little kind of individualized communion sets. This week is communion, of course, the first Sunday of the month. And so when you come in, however many are in your party, we'll ask how many communion sets do you want. And so these are little individualized pieces that you can pull off the top, and there's a little wafer, and then pull off the next, and there's a cup to drink. And so these will be the way that we individually will share communion in a safe way as we communally gather together. Also, just kind of an awareness of how our space will work. So we'll be socially distanced in the sanctuary, and so we have some capacity regulations. And so when you get to a point where perhaps the sanctuary is full, we'll have overflow first into the Judson room, and we can fit a handful of folks more into there. And then when those two spaces are full, then we'll come into here to the narthex with speakers here, so that folks can sit out in this and be socially distanced. Or if we have such a big crowd that we need a little bit more space, we'll send folks into the Roger Williams room, where we can have people gathered together there and watch the live stream up on the screen. So there are plenty of ways that people can be in the building as we gather for in-person worship this coming Sunday. But what is it going to look like in the sanctuary? There's a few things that will look different here in the sanctuary about how we'll kind of interact with each other and what that will feel like. Pastor Cristina is going to share some of these different ways with us as she shares what hospitality looks like in this way.
Oh, Pastor Matt, remember, 3 seats.
Oh, that's right.
Here you go. So when you come in, your family needs to have 3 seats between you and whatever people are coming next, so make sure to leave room for that. We're going to keep our masks on throughout the whole service. It's especially important that your masks are on during singing. Singing is an important part of our church life, and we are going to be singing, and we are excited to sing together, but to keep everybody safe, we need to keep our masks on. We also will still be having passing of the peace, but we are going to be doing it no touch ways. So, peace. My personal favorite is a big circle hello. So think about how you want to wish other people the peace of Christ in non-touch ways. We also are going to be taking offering. The digital forms will still be up and available, but if you bring in a check or cash, we will have offering plates at the door that you can drop it in at the end of the service. We also aren't going to be having Bibles or hymnals for you to use, so if you want, bring your own with you if you want to be able to use them during the service. So now Pastor Matt's going to show what it will look like for us to leave at the end of the service.
We've been in worship together, and we've been 3 seats apart, or 6 feet apart as a part of the worship service. And then when it's time to go, in order to again, minimize physical proximity and not be right next to somebody, we'll dismiss in rows. Think about a wedding, right? When they would kind of dismiss a row at a time. But we're going to do it beginning in the back. And so the first rows out will be the last row, and then we'll just kind of figure it out together as we go up toward the front and step out back outside again. Now, as Pastor Cristina said, if you want to drop your check here in the offering plate on the way out, here's the time that you can do that, and then we'll go outside. Now, one of the best things about church is always what we call narthex time, where we get to just hang out and talk to each other for a while after church. Obviously, for safety reasons and hospitality reasons, we don't want to do that indoors, but there's supposed to be a beautiful forecast for this coming Sunday, and so we'll have a chance to be outside and just enjoy one another's company as we spend time in community. Of course, over these last several weeks and months, we've been together. We've continued to be church, but there's been something for a lot of us that's been missing in terms of that chance to see our friends and be close to them. And so as we talk about how we're going to do that this Sunday in a safe way, in a hospitable way, you are made welcome. You are invited to come and share our community once again in in-person worship this coming Sunday, May 2nd.